newer. I'm the creator of Vulture Clothing Company, and I want to introduce you guys to the brand. So Vulture started beginning of my senior year of high school. I've always liked to draw a lot. I used to make comic books, stuff like that. I was drawing in class, as I always did, and I drew this little bird figure. It was in a box, and it had like a black robe on, and it was just like a bird skull shape. And it was kind of similar to like the old Tony Hawk brand clothes that I wore all the time when I was little. Kind of reminded me of that. I just looked at it and I was like, this is pretty sick. And I was looking at the square, and I had already been thinking I wanted to try and mess around with a clothing brand because I had done merch for my YouTube channel, and that was fun, but I wanted to do something that I hand drew myself and designed. So I was looking at it, I was like, that would be a perfect like patch on a beanie. I don't know where Vulture came from, why I said it was a vulture, but for whatever reason I was like, Vulture, that would be a sick name for a brand. I drew like a logo with like this grunge looking text, and that was the birth of Vulture. From there, I started drawing Vulture related things constantly, and I started coming up with ideas on things that would be aesthetically pleasing. Like, I had an idea that I still might use in the future. It'll be like a collection where it's like these beautiful nature scenes. And when I first came up with the idea, I thought the vulture was going to represent death. It was going to be like the inevitability of death, and kind of like the beauty in accepting that idea that you're going to die. So it would be like this vulture lurking over the beautiful nature scene. Over time, I think God kind of revealed to me what this should be, what this could be, and the type of power that it could actually hold. I met a guy when I was working at Wegmans pulling carts who started talking to me about things relating to religion, mainly conspiracy type stuff about modern society and how it's damaging us as people and how it's a very unnatural way for humans to live, and essentially just, blackpilling me. And I had heard things like that, and I knew that society was fucked. I knew that things were not working well, and I knew a lot of the reasons for that. But he just painted the picture in a way that helped me understand it further, and helped me understand why exactly it's so wrong. And he helped me honestly get a grasp of what morals really are. And through him, I found God. He did not preach gospel to me. He did not tell me that I need to convert to Christianity, or even, he didn't tell me anything really. He just talked about his beliefs, and he talked in a way that was influential, and it got me thinking. And in my own time, I came to the conclusion that God is real, and over time, I've become an actual Christian. But this is not necessarily a Christian brand. I'd say it's a youth culture brand. It's about influencing young people to do better for themselves in more ways than just the vapid self-improvement world promotes. I think that there's too much focus on, trying to look good and trying to make money. Both of those things are not useless. They're not unimportant, but they're not something that makes life worth living. What makes life worth living is it's a spiritual aspect of life, and it's something that very few young people actually understand. It has a lot to do with God, and it has a lot to do with connections with other people. And these connections, it's not just having fun with people. It's not just, laughing and going outside. It's being able to truly trust and rely on people. And it's having people in your life who you feel comfortable coming to when everything's falling apart. And it's, more importantly, being that person for somebody else. That is one of the biggest responsibilities you have as a person, is to be a figure of support for those who need it, especially as a man. And these are some of the main values that Vulture embodies. The vulture, to me, is a holy symbol. It represents a person who takes the negative situation that we've all been put in, the disgusting decay and rot and just the overall depravity you see in the world, and it takes that and it spins it and it turns it into positive. Vultures, they turn death into life. They eat decaying animals and they turn that into energy for themselves. And I think in these times that we live in, that's essentially what you have to do. You have to turn negativity into positivity. You have to find a way to be fueled by the hate, to be fueled by disgust, just the disdain that you are probably feeling for this world that we've all been forced to take part in. And I think through that, you start to find the beauty that is actually out there. And when you have this realization and this kind of, not to use an overused buzzword, but the spiritual awakening, you can actually recognize that the world is a beautiful place and that life is absolutely worth living and it does have a meaning. But it's not something that anyone can give to you. It's not something that can be explained to you or that you can read in a book. You can read it in the Bible, but you won't understand it until it's already in you. I'm not a preacher. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to even necessarily be a mentor. I'm more so trying to be a role model. You know, I want to be someone who young kids can look at and say, you know, he hasn't ruined his life. That's the biggest thing, man. I swear, like, famous people are always just so all over the place. They're broken people. And I think it's just wrong that we put people in this position and we put them on this pedestal and then they fall short and we say, you know, what the fuck happened? It's because we're looking at these young lost children to be our role models for some reason. I don't know why. But my goal is to put myself in a position of influence and actually use it for the purpose that it should hold. You know, I want to be a guide for young people. That's my goal in life, and even going beyond YouTube and beyond Vulture. I want to help kids because I just see the world we live in. I see the number of negative influences and the lack of true, real role models that exist today, and it really scares me. And I don't want to see a generation of young people who is more lost than this generation. Because I'm gonna be honest, Gen Z is the most lost generation to ever walk the face of the planet. We're like we were just so out of it. And I look at the generation right below us, and I truly, truly am scared for them. So I think it's very, very important to be a positive influence, and more than ever, we as young people and young men especially have a responsibility to ourselves and to others to take care of ourselves mentally, physically, and most importantly, spiritually. And we need to pass on that knowledge. We're doing our second drop coming May 20th. It's a Boy Scout theme. And that theme, first of all, I think it's an interesting visual aesthetic that people will kind of be able to get behind today. It's that outdoor wear type of, I like that durability, that utilitarianism. I'm not a luxury brand. If you buy a Vulture shirt, I want you to put it on, and I want you to be wearing it every day for 15 years straight until it's a rag, barely holding together, faded as fuck, but you still care about what that shirt means enough that you want to wear it every day and you want to rip it up and you want to get it dirty. That's what I'm going for. And I want it to be cheap, I want it to be durable, and I want it to have a meaning to it. I don't give a fuck about having the nicest, softest fabric or, you know, feeling like a rich person would wear it. Regardless, second drop is coming May 20th. I've got a sweater, a t-shirt, and a hat coming out, a dad hat. And I think this crop of designs is really, really amazing. Like, I'm really proud of this one. I think compared to the first drop, I learned a lot from that process. And I think this one's going to go a lot smoother. And I'm very excited to announce that we're going to be having a pop-up shop on drop day on May 20th. It'll be at Stellar Human on Robinson Street in Binghamton, New York. So if you're in the area, if you've heard of the store, or if you're near Binghamton, literally put that on maps, Stellar Human. It'll come up. It's a nice little vintage shop. They've got tons of curated vintage clothes, very high quality stuff. LaRue is an awesome dude, and he's given me a big opportunity letting me have a shop out of his store. So make sure you show up. You know, there's going to be other brands there. You can check their stuff out. Atol, always thinking out loud. He's going to be there. He's an awesome guy. His brand's sick. Make sure you pull up. That's our second drop, and in the future, I'm thinking of starting to do more one-piece drops just to save money and to get things out faster, really get the ball rolling with this. I have to say recently, I've just been feeling like God is really calling me to do this. I honestly believe that God put this idea in my head because, like I said, in the beginning, this brand, it didn't have a meaning to it really. It was just kind of a cool looking visual. And over time, it really feels like the idea was given to me. It doesn't feel like I made it. It feels like, you know, people around me and whatever I was taking in, it just kind of materialized in my head. And I think the truth of the matter is that God gave it to me. God told me, this is what this is. This is what you're going to do with it. Now go do it. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to listen. In the future, long-term goals. Let's talk about that. I want to have some serious influence in the realm of mental health. I think it's obvious to everyone that we are in a mental health crisis and an identity crisis, and that especially young people, but really people in general, are just, they don't understand what's happening to them, to why they feel so depressed, why they're so anxious, why socializing is like such a daunting task, why they just don't feel competent as human beings. And I think the reasons for that, there's a multitude of them. There's more tangible solutions besides medication and therapy that people are just overlooking. And I want to present these ideas to people in a way that is not attacking you. It's not telling you you're dumb or you're weak for doing things the way you are, and recognizing that, you know what, people who are struggling and who are kind of becoming a drag on society, and I'm not referring to anyone in particular, but people who are starting to drag down the rest of society, they are a symptom of an already broken society. They are not the problem. So I don't know what form I want to do this in, whether it's going to be seminars or like, I really would love to do like a mentorship program similar to like Big Brother, program where there are people who have established themselves, who have balanced lives, who are healthy physically, mentally, and spiritually, who can take in a group of young people and say, you know, you're going to figure this out for yourself, but this is how I did it. You know, these are some things that you can do today to change your situation. I just think so many kids, they just need one person to tell them that they are worth something, they can make something for themselves, and they don't have to be the president to be worthy of love, of respect, and that all of these things, they're a result of character and of merit. It's a result of being a reliable person and being someone who looks people in the eyes and has respect for others and themselves. And it's really, it comes down to simple, little things like that. So many kids could benefit from something like that, and that's a big goal of mine. Also, in the creative space, I'd love to give opportunities to young people who grew up in possibly in areas similar to me where there's very little opportunity for young creative people. I want to do a Vulture Film Festival, you know, let young filmmakers get their work out there. I want to do a Vulture mixtape where musical artists who align themselves with these type of values have an opportunity to get on a whole collaborative album. I think that would be awesome. I really want to just, you know, I want to help young kids out. And I know I'm almost 19 now. I'm a young kid, but I've had a lot of guidance in my life. I've had a lot of people who have been role models to me, who have helped me along the way, and I've never had to to worry about where my next meal is coming from. I've never had to worry about my parents getting arrested or any number of tragic things that so many young kids are dealing with. And I think that I have a responsibility to pass down the way that I was blessed as a child. I want to pass that blessing down to others. So that's what Vulture's really about. You know, it's a streetwear brand at the end of the day. I love these designs. They mean something to me. And I love to explain the meaning behind my art, but I think sometimes it's better just to let people develop their own understanding of it and interpret it themselves. I will say this design, I call this the warning shirt. The name of it when I was selling it is Vulture Skull Tee, but what it represents to me is a warning. This is a vulture holding a human skull, and it's essentially representing, like, you're either the vulture or you're the one the vulture's eating. You know, figure your shit out or you're going to get trampled over. Other people will figure it out if you don't. That's essentially what this shirt means to me. But yeah, our first drop was not a success by any means. I'll be completely transparent about that. I lost money. I still have stock because I bought too much, trying to get enough for promotional material. And it was sloppy. I was late on delivering a lot of things. The whole thing was a mess, but drop 2 is going to be much better. I'm ecstatic to see where this whole thing goes, and I think that if you come along on this ride, you're going to be amazed to see the changes that are ahead. I mean, I'm really all in on this. I've always been the type of person who starts a project, gets bored with it, moves on to the next thing. I'm always starting something new, and that's a really bad habit that I have. But something about this particular thing, I can't give it up. I can't stop. Something about it, I just know this is going somewhere. It really is. So if you want to come along for the ride, if you want to see where I'm going, see what kind of impact this movement is going to have, subscribe to this channel. Follow the Instagram. It's at Real Vulture Clothing. We're on TikTok too, but I couldn't get back into the account because I deleted TikTok, came back, the linked account was gone, and I took it as a sign that I don't need TikTok anymore. So I deleted it again, and we're probably never coming back to that platform, which is a risky move, to be frank, but I think it's the right one. Regardless, follow on Instagram. Shop vulturecloth.com. That's where it's available. Right now there's nothing, but Drop 2 is coming May 20th. We've got a crazy assortment of things. It's going to be amazing. And if you want to be a part of this, if you want to be a model, if you want to be in a video promoting Vulture, if you have a message that you think fans of Vulture would appreciate or that I would appreciate, please contact me. I'd love to work with you. I'd love to get other people involved. If you're a young creative, you have a brand, you have a YouTube channel, you make music, you make art of any type, hit me up. Let's work together. Let's get you involved in this. I don't want to be the face of Vulture. You know, I created it, but it's not about me. It's about a collective. So please hit me up, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Don't kill babies. Guide the youth.